In this video, I'm going to be taking you 4 different ways $100 million companies like Gym Launch use company merch as a way to improve the client satisfaction in their businesses. We'll be going over why they actually use this, what you need to actually do this, and how to actually set up a simple automation that can do this automatically. And then I'll be going over the 4 different ways these massive companies actually use this secret technique to improve the client experience at scale and make more money by increasing their lifetime value. For those of you who don't know, my name's Leo. I'm the CEO and founder of Fluxomate, an operation agency which helps agency owners all over the world set up scale-proof systems. I've personally set up this exact same automation for myself and for the different partners that we actually help out at Fluxomate. So if you want to actually find an easy way to automatically improve your client experience by adding those little finishing touches which these $100 million companies are actually leveraging, then you're going to love this video, guys. Let's get straight into it. So the first thing I actually want to talk about is why companies like Gym Launch, are valued at 100 plus million are actually using this secret technique. And I think it's going to boil down into 2 main sections. The first half of things is LTV and the second half of things is promotion. We'll start off with LTV. Now, LTV is just basically lifetime value. The easiest way to actually calculate it is just to do 1 over your churn and times that by your gross revenue you get every single month. This number basically just shows you how much every single one of your clients is worth on average. In order to actually calculate the lifetime value, you do want to do 1 over 0.1, which is that churn we identified earlier, and then times that by 5,000, which is the monthly revenue that this client actually pays you. This lets you with a lifetime value of 50,000, which basically means every single one of your clients that come in, on average, pay you $50,000. That's how much they're actually worth. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you 4 different ways that having this sort of merch or automated merch system can actually increase that customer experience, which in turn will reduce your churn, increasing your lifetime value, and ultimately making more money. That's the first half of things. The second half of things is promotion. Every single time you give your clients this merch, they basically act as a walking billboard for your agency. When they go around to different events, around with their family, even out and about or on conference calls, someone's going to ask them, oh, where'd you get that mug from? Oh, where'd you get that t-shirt from? Or, oh, where'd you get that hoodie from? And guess what they're going to say? They're going to say things about your agency. And if you can manage to find a way to provide a really, really good experience to them, coupled with really, really good results, they will basically be your free marketing billboard. And guys, if you think about it, let's say you're serving agency owners, for example, like us. Agency owners talk to other agency owners. Agency owners hang out with different agency owners. It's an easy way to kind of get into that group and infiltrate yourself within their own ecosystem so you can get more referrals. The second way you can actually use this to leverage promotion is by social share. Now, this is a concept that we actually talked about in one of our lead magnet videos a couple videos back. However, when someone receives some sort of care package when they first get onboarded, sort of like this, right, that has the mug, the t-shirts, whatever you kind of want to include, they're much more likely to make a little video about it on TikTok or Instagram to convert more leads. And then once again, this ties back to the thing. If you're dealing with agency owners, they're likely to be friends with different agency owners, and they're especially likely to interact with different agency owners on social media. So them showcasing the experience they actually bring into your clients on social media, it's almost a no-brainer, right? And it's going to bring you more leads in the long run if you invest a little bit of money in actually sending these products off to your new customers using the 4 different methods I'm going to show you in a second. Another pro tip I'll give you is don't just order one when you're actually ordering these different clothes. Have a whole set of clothes that they can actually wear. For example, a couple of t-shirts, a couple of hoodies, so they can actually share it with their family and friends. For example, if I were to send 1 hoodie, then yeah, it would be cool. But if I were to send everyone, let's say 3 hoodies and a couple of t-shirts, they're much more likely to actually share that with their family and friends. And maybe they even go out, everyone's wearing orange stuff, they're 100% going to get stopped and be like, oh, where'd you get that from? Not on a clothing aspect of side of things, but it's a great way to actually promote yourself, which is why clothing brands, right? When you actually have a clothing brand, one of the best marketings you have is referrals. But when it comes to clothing, right, you're literally a walking billboard because they're wearing your stuff everywhere. With services, it's a bit harder, but using this kind of method is an easy way to introduce yourself within a conversation that one of your clients may have with their friends, their families, or even just a random stranger who stops them and asks them, oh, where'd you get that hoodie from? Before I actually go ahead and show you 4 different ways you can actually use this, I want to go over how you can actually set this up. But firstly, let's talk about what you actually need. So there's 4 different things you actually need to make this work. And the first thing is a no-code automation tools. Now, the 2 main ones are Zapier and Make. I talked about this in one of our community calls this week, but if you want my honest opinion, these are fairly similar. At the end of the day, all these software tools are basically doing is repackaging APIs. So whatever you can do in Make, you can do in Zapier, and whatever you can do in Zapier, you can do in Make. Me personally, I use both because we have different use cases for different clients. However, if you want an honest opinion, I would recommend checking out both, signing up to the free trial or even a free plan, I believe. I think all of them have one, and figuring out which one works best for you. I will say that I think Zapier is probably a bit more beginner friendly. However, it's more expensive in the long run, and Make is a bit harder to understand at first, but I reckon you can do a bit more off the surface level with Make.com. But once again, the choice is completely up to you. I recommend testing them out and finding which one you prefer. Once you've actually gone ahead and chosen your no-code automation tool, it's time you actually build a database of clients. Now, this is self-explanatory. This is basically some sort of database where you're tracking different things such as their email, their phone number, their address, the start date, and the actual name. This can be hosted in something as simple as Google Sheets, something a bit more complicated at Airtable, and a real solution, which is what we use for our clients, which is no local. This is an example of something hosted on Google Sheet. As you can see, it's a very, very simple sheet. All we'll track is the name, email, retainer, company size, phone number, address, start date, and different things like that. This is an example of something on Airtable, and this is an example of a database on NoLocal, which is once again what we use for our clients because we basically leverage that to create different internal tools. The key part of this, guys, and it's kind of tied into the previous point, but you don't just need a database of clients, you need very, very specific client information. Because different information like the email, the phone number, the address, the start date is relevant. But when it comes to doing what we're doing today, you need two main things. You need to find the address and the size. The easiest way to actually collect this is using the onboarding form. And I recently recorded this amazing video going over how you can actually leverage onboarding forms to provide your clients with a better onboarding experience. So if you want to check that out, you can follow this link in the top right corner as soon as you finish watching this video. Now, within, kind of like I did within this Google Sheet, you need to actually be tracking their clothing size and also their address, so you actually have somewhere to actually ship out these different items of merch. And the last thing you need is a Printful account. Now, also, you don't need Printful particularly, you just need something that actually drop ships clothes. The three main bonuses of this, that you don't have to keep stock, you don't have to deal with actually packaging the stock, and you don't have to deal with any sort of shipping. They basically take over everything for you, and they're actually quite surprisingly affordable. In this example, I'm going to be talking about Printful because that's what I've used. However, you can use any sort of clothes drop shipping that you prefer. At the end of the day, it's similar, it's up to preference. So I recommend you test out as many as you can and find the one that works best for you. But for those of you who are using Printful, I'll go over a very, very quick account setup so you can get an idea of how to actually use this tool. Alright guys, so I've loaded up an example Printful account. Now, in order to make an account, it's very, very easy. You basically want to set up a shop. There you basically go ahead and actually design a different product. So in this example, if it loads up properly, you'll see I made a very, very simple design. But there's so much items you can actually use, from men's clothing, women's clothing, even kids clothing, different accessories, home and living items, hats. There's so much you can actually do here. And in order to actually create a product, it's so simple. All you have to do is select any of these. So for example, if I want to do some sort of accessory, then it's going to load it up. And if you scroll down, let's say I want to do, I don't know, a bag, sure. And then I go ahead and select this tote bag right here. And then all I have to do is create a product template. Then it's going to basically prompt me to basically upload my logo. And that's how I can create my own product. Now, when actually creating these different products, what I would recommend is having different products available. So for example, you can have the average one with just a logo, similar to what I'm wearing now, what you've seen in my different videos with the t-shirt, or you can have something a bit more complicated, like a more intricate design. What I've seen work charm is basically have different designs for different type of levels that your clients may achieve while working with you. So let's say one for beginners, one for people that have hit X amount, or one for people that have hit X amount at the very, very top. If you're doing in-person events, this is such a great tactic to have because you basically want to tell people to come wearing a specific level. And within that, that's a networking skill in itself. So when they actually come into the event, by the time they get home, they're going to be like, man, I wish I had that t-shirt, right? See how it's an easy way to kind of engage your clients in your services and sort of create a whole community and partly use gamification to your advantage. But once again, I'm going to be talking about how to use this in a second. In terms of creating a product, it's very, very simple. Setting an account is also fairly simple. Don't overthink it. It is very easy. And once again, you don't have to use Printful. It's just the thing that I've used for my own agency and some of my partners. But if you obviously find something that works a bit better for you, then feel free to actually use that. Cool, guys. So now that I've shown you what you actually need to set up, I'm going to quickly go over how to actually do this in terms of building out the automation. Now, this is a bit different to our different tutorials on our channel because I'm not going to be building this automation from scratch. Once again, there's a bunch of different options and how you actually can set this up depending on your service delivery. So for example, depending on a specific trigger, when you actually want to use this, what different app you're using, the different designs you have, different things like that. So what will be more useful, I think, is for me to actually focus on the actual fundamentals of how to actually use this. And then you can go ahead and actually build out your automation. I've seen a couple of tutorials online on how to actually do this. So it's nothing too complicated. But if you do want me to record this, then leave a comment below, obviously in the community. I can record a separate Loom video going over how to actually build an automation to automatically order clothing items. But I'll give you an example of automation just to explain what the flow could actually look like so you can at least get started on your automation journey. The first step is a trigger. This is basically what initiates the automation to actually run. It's very important you get this right because without this, the automation won't work, right? A couple of different examples of triggers could be after X days. So for example, you can set this 30 days after they actually join, 60 days after they join, different things like that. You can set this up by updating your CRM. So let's say you're actually moving them from finishing the onboarding stage to active client. you could trigger this to automatically send them a gift, such as a clothing item or even a custom phone case, whatever it may be. I'll show you the examples earlier. Another example could be a form completion. Now, this is something a bit more malleable where your customer success manager will basically come in and filling a form and basically order the item for them automatically. You can also use this by pressing a button. Now, this is specifically using if you're using a no-code application. Nano Loco is very, very versatile, and you can basically set up these buttons that you can literally just press, and I can go ahead and trigger a different workflow. And lastly, you can use this as a message to an assistant. Now, I will say this is a bit more complicated, but if you have set up different assistants in your agency within Slack or different things like that, you can use this to basically send a message to an AI assistant, and then it can automatically go ahead and process the information that you gave it and place an order for you. Those are a couple of examples of the trigger. Like I said, there's a reason I didn't build out this automation because there's a lot of different possibilities. And especially when we go over the 4 different examples in a second, you'll get a much better idea of the different ways you can actually utilize this tool. And you'll realize, wow, there's a lot of different options here. The second step of automation, once you've actually triggered it, is you want to actually find the client in your database. This is why I said it's very important to actually have a client database. And what you basically do here, you get the email or some sort of information about the client and actually find their record in the database so you can scrape different things such as their clothing size and their address. Now, what I would actually also add here is a step that basically checks that their clothing size and address is actually existing. And if it doesn't exist, you can go ahead and actually send them a message basically requesting for the different things. You don't want to order something to the wrong address or buy the wrong size. So make sure you actually add that kind of filter step to make sure that you have that information before you place the order. Once you've actually found the client and filtered that correct information is there, you actually want to go ahead and filter by design. Like I'm going to show you in a second, there's different ways you can do this. And one of the ways you can do this is basically to have a multiple different designs that are meant for different people. So for example, when someone first comes in, they had a t-shirt, but let's say 60 days after, they can get a hoodie with a custom design, different things like that. Once you've actually filtered by design, then you can go ahead and use Printful to actually print the order. They have a direct integration with Mate.com, which is fairly easy to set up. But once again, it doesn't matter if you're using Printful or any sort of other print-on-demand service. There's a ton of different options out there. And then what I like to do is always send confirmation to the person that's actually triggered automation. So this could be a message in Slack, or update in a CRM, or even an email to the client to let them know they have an order coming their way. There's a bunch of different ways you can actually spin this, but this is the general flow of the automation that I would actually make if I was building this live today. Cool, guys. Now you have a good understanding of why you actually need to use this, how you can actually set this up. I want to go over different ways you can actually use this. There's 4 different options we're going over. And the first way is basically having different rewards for different sort of loyalty levels. Now, this incorporates some sort of aspect of gamification where you basically give them a reward after X period of time. And I'll give you an example of what this actually looks like in real life. When I used to finish school and go to my job as a sushi chef back when I was younger, 3 months after I actually started working, I got a bonus in the check. At first, I did thought they made a mistake in the actual billing system. However, it just turns out they gave me about a 10% bonus of my salary as a way to congratulate me for actually making it through a 3-month training. This exact same thing we're applying here, but rather than it being employees, we just make it for your clients. So let's say 3 months, 30 days, 1 quarter, 6 months, or even 1 year, you basically want to run this automation and give them a bonus. Now, a pro tip I would have here is basically have different designs for the different time periods. For example, a 30-day could be a simple logo, 1 quarter could be something a bit more complicated, and so on and so forth. You just basically want to reward them for actually staying with you for such a long period of time. And once again, if you do in-person events, you actually tell them to bring that specific merch, like this acquisition.com app, for example. It'll be an easy way for you to firstly spot your clients, but also to interact with them, kind of congratulate them for staying for X period of time, because it'll be very, very easy to kind of spot out. The second way you can actually use this is by incorporating a different aspect of gamification. So the time-based approach is one of them, but a reward-based approach is something different. And it's a bit more complicated, but the actual concept is quite simple. You basically want to give them a reward when they actually go ahead and meet their goal with it from merch. Now, I will say, merch is not the only thing you can gift here. There's so many more things you can do, like handwritten cards, gift cards. Just gifts in general are great ways to kind of provide an incentive for your client to actually hit their goals. However, merch is one of the things that's very, very easy to do, especially using automation I showed you a second ago. Now, fully automating this can look very, very different depending on how your system is actually set up. So, for example, if you have something quite simple, right, where each client has one goal, an example of this could be, I don't know, make 10K in 3 months, something very, very simple that's easy to track and every single client has the same goal, then yes, it's quite easy to actually automate this, because whenever your tracking system detects that someone's made 10K, you can go ahead and trigger automation. However, if you're working for clients more of a done for you basis and it's very one-to-one high ticket and there's a bunch of different use case scenarios, then it becomes a bit more complicated tracking the different goals. It's still possible, just a bit more complicated. So in terms of the simple method, the easy way to do this is obviously using a CRM and a dashboard. You basically use a CRM to actually track that specific goal, which for example could be that 10K amount, and then the KPI dashboard to basically track the performance towards that 10K month. Once they actually hit it, then you can automatically trigger the automation and actually send your client that gift. The easiest way to actually automate or at least streamline the process when you have a bunch of different goals for each client is to basically leverage your customer success managers. Here you basically want them to actually keep an eye on the specific client they're looking after performance, and within the notes section in your CRM you can have something which basically explains their specific goal. So for example, if someone's goal who came in, they mentioned on the sales call that the main thing they wanted to do was lose 50 pounds of fat while they were basically working on their mental health in your productivity offer, right? Once they actually manage to lose that 50 pounds of fat, the customer success manager can pick it up and immediately press that button to automatically order them a gift or some sort of reward. This is once again part of gamification, which I've got a whole video coming out on soon, going over exactly you can use gamification to really leverage your offer. So far, I've gone over 2 different ways you can actually use merch to increase your lifetime value of your customers by providing them with a truly one-of-one experience and actually caring for them, right? At the end of the day, if you're in an agency, you're actually dealing with human beings. So the more you actually show you care about them, the more they'll give you that back. Of course, if you're providing them results. Like I say in a lot of different videos, if you're not taking time to actually generate the correct results for your clients, then all these different tricks and hacks are not going to mean anything. The number one thing you need to focus on is actually providing results. All the different things I'm talking about here is more so of an addition. The third thing option you can actually use this is by sending them a welcome gift. Now the key thing here is basically using this gift or reward as a way to actually reinforce that decision and avoid any sort of buyer's remorse. Obviously this will be integrated within your onboarding automation, but what it basically look like is whenever you actually collect that money and you're going through the onboarding process, you basically want to use part of the money that they gave you, order them a gift, which you'll get 1 week later. I mean, imagine the impact this can actually have. Let's say you just sign up to a company, you're feeling a bit unsure about it, and they kind of guide you through your onboarding process, which is great, but you're still kind of taken aback by, wow, I really gave these guys a lot of money. And then 1 week in, you get a care package, which you weren't even expecting, that has a bunch of different mugs, calculators, I don't know, t-shirts, different things like that. It's obviously not the main factor on whether a client will leave you or not, but onboarding itself is a great way to make a first impression. And using something like this is a way to boost that first impression and make them think, wow, yeah, these guys really care about me. These guys are serious, and I know I'm going to be treated well with these guys. The whole point of all the different things we do in onboarding is firstly, maximize that experience that our actually client gets, but we want to make a really, really good first impression. Because down the line, if we do mess up or if the results go a bit south of our targets, then we can use that as leverage, having that good relationship with our clients. I say this a lot, guys, but in the agency space, it is really a people's game. Obviously, results are important. I'm not saying they're not. However, if you can actually find a way to mix on good results with an amazing client experience, is an easy way to get reliable increases in your lifetime value, which will in turn make you more money. The last way you can actually use this is probably one of the best ways you can actually use this. And I mentioned this in a previous video, but I actually know some companies that actually do this purposely just so they can get that goodwill from the clients. Now, when you're working with a bunch of different clients, at some point you're going to mess up. And that's normal. It's part of the game, especially if you're doing, done for you services. At some point, something's going to go wrong. Let's say you add the wrong ad copy to a text, you send the wrong link within an ad, you post the wrong piece of content, you send the wrong contract. Something's bound to mess up at some point, right? And what Layla Mosley basically talks about, which if you don't know who she is, she's an operator of a holding group called acquisition.com, which is doing about 250 million a year, a massive company. She's also Alex and Mosley's partners. And she basically talks about this spectrum, right, that a client will basically have, where it's between angry, neutral, and happy. What most people do is whenever something bad happens, they move the client from angry to maybe neutral or just below neutral. This is obviously a fix, but it's not a true kind of remedy. The client doesn't feel special. We can use merch and obviously different things as a way to not only move them to neutral, but really provide them to a happy state where they become a positive referral for your business. Now, obviously, guys, if you go ahead and make a massive mistake and you go ahead and send them around a piece of clothing, they don't really care. This is more so of an addition to different things you can do. So, for example, about 2 weeks ago, I was overcharged by a company. I went ahead and actually emailed the support and they apologized to me and they went ahead and refunded me. I went from angry to neutral because I was still a bit annoyed that the inconvenience happened in the first place and I had to go email them, but obviously I wasn't angry because I got my refund. However, if that company then went ahead and said, okay, we're not just going to refund you. We're going to go ahead and give you 1 month for free and send you a package of goodies as a way to apologize because I'm really, really sorry this happened. Now this has taken me from neutral to happy because I've seen that they actually care and progress has been made to actually make sure that I get the best possible experience to them. This is similar to the exact same concept I actually use here. I'm sorry is not enough, but it's a perfect opportunity to basically go above and beyond and actually give this best possible experience to your clients because, An angry customer will give you about 10 negative referrals. A neutral customer will give you no referrals, but a happy customer will give you 3 to 4 good referrals, which you can actually use and basically act as free leads for your company. And once again, guys, just to be very, very clear, I'm not saying the merch here is the main dish, so the main kind of solution to the problem, but it's a great addition to have kind of as a side dish to really show that you actually care about the client and you're apologizing in a meaningful way. But guys, that's pretty much it. This is how you can actually automatically improve your client experience using clothing, but more specifically merch for your different company. It doesn't have to be clothing, obviously. It can be hoodies, it can be t-shirts, but it can also be different things like hats. It can be different things like notebooks, backpacks. There's so much you can actually do to basically create this kind of community or hub with your clients and really make them invested in your company. That's it for me today, guys. If this video was valuable, make sure to like and subscribe. We have a ton of more content like this on our YouTube channel, which we release them every single week. So if you want to see more information on how you can actually scale your agency the right way using different things like automation, operational frameworks, internal tools, and so much more, make sure to like and subscribe to see more videos like this on your feed. If you want to access a step-by-step guide on how you can actually set up scale-proof systems in your agency, taking you through the exact same process that we take every single one of our clients through to actually set up these scale-proof systems, you can check the first link in the description to join our free community and get access to our scale-proof roadmap. This is a 5-stage course with about 39 different modules, for over 400 different examples, and over 1,200 minutes of video content going over exactly how we scale-proof systems for our clients. It's 100% free. All you have to do to actually join is check out the first link in the description and join our free community. And within there, you'll not only have access to the scale-proof roadmap, you'll have access to every single one of the automation templates or resources that we've ever used in our channel, direct access to myself and my team if you have any questions about anything I talked about today, or just operations in general, and also a growing community of established agency owners who are actually looking to set up scale-proof systems. We've got some really, really big players in there. So if any of that sounded interesting and you actually want to leverage different operations to actually grow your agency the right way, then check out the first link in the description. You can join that for free. Apart from that, guys, that's it from me today. Make sure to check out this video right here because your learning shouldn't stop here. There's so much more you can do. And using this, you can basically create a perfect onboarding form where you can collect different information like the clothing size or the address automatically in a leverage way to actually improve your client experience throughout that onboarding process using a simple form. If that's interesting, then check out that video. And apart from that, guys, that's it from me today. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.